Hello, Miss Steele here. So this week we're talking about contrast. So we're going to make our own rainy day umbrella contrast. Contrast is whenever there's a big difference in your artwork. And contrast can help increase viewer interest. It gives them more to look at. So contrast is whenever there's a difference in your artwork. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this super colorful and we're going to leave one part white. And that's going to be underneath our umbrella. You want a pencil and an eraser. You want some crowns to color in with. And then if you have it, you want some blue paint. Because we're going to paint in some rain at the end. Which is why we're using the crowns. Because crowns are made of wax. And because we're using paints that take a lot of water, wax and water resist each other. So hopefully the paint won't stick wherever we color in with crowns. So our first step is drawing our umbrella. So to draw your umbrella, what you're going to start out with is a large upside down U, like that. Now on the bottom, we're going to make a bumpy line. We're going to add a little flat rectangle at the top. And then we're going to connect those lines going up there. So I'm curving them in like that. Now for our handle, what I do is I draw two straight lines next to each other. And then I scoop it up and around to make the handle like that. So now we have our umbrella drawn. The only thing left to do is start coloring it in. And what I want you to try is I want you to try some different patterns in each of these. So 1, 2, 3 different patterns. I've been really into smiley faces lately, so I know for one of my patterns, I'm going to make a bunch of smiley faces. A pattern is any line, shape, or color that repeats itself. So I think I'm going to do smiley faces for this pattern. So I'm going to get this all finished and then we'll move on to the other parts. I'm also going to color in my handle as well. And I think I'm going to make my handle not gray, but I think I'm going to make it green. I think I'm going to make it a little crazy. So I'm going to get this colored in my handle, and then we'll check in for these two. Alright, so I finished my first pattern, and I think I'm going to make my next pattern on this other side. And I think I'm going to do hearts. I think I'm in the mood to make some hearts. So again, a pattern is any line, shape, or color that repeats itself again and again and again. So I did smiley faces for that one, and I'm going to do some hearts over here. And I think that's what's going to be my pattern for this side. So I'm going to draw my hearts and color them in. And I'm also going to color in some stripes in this middle area. So I'm going to get these colored in, and then I'm going to add some stripes into this one, and then we will move on to our next step. Alright, so I'm coloring in my stripes. I still need to color in my hearts, but you want to make for sure, especially if you're painting, you get your entire umbrella colored in. So I'm not leaving any white. I want it to be all the way colored in, because that will help the paint not stick that much more. So wherever I'm putting crown, the paint won't stick. So I'm going to get this last section colored in, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take our paint, and we're going to use some blue paint. We're going to paint all over the top and the sides of the umbrella, but we don't want to paint underneath the umbrella because the umbrella is blocking the rest of that rain. I also think I have one detail that I've been thinking of that I want to add as well. I've never added this to my umbrella before whenever I've been drawing it, but I think it's going to look really cool. So I'm going through, I'm making for sure I go back and color in any white spots that might be hanging out, because we want this to look really nice. And if you leave some white splotches that still need to be colored in, it doesn't look as finished as if you go over it again. Alright, So the idea I had in my mind was adding some straight lines like this, just so our umbrella can have some tassels. And then at the bottom of these straight lines, I thought it'd be fun to draw a star. So again, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. It's just something I decided to do. So I'm going to pick out what color I want my stars to be. I think I'm going to keep it orange. And at the bottom of here, I'm going to add in one more pattern. That pattern being these repeating straight lines coming down and the stars on the end of it. Alright friends, let's grab our paints. Now that we have our umbrella all colored in. And if you don't have paints, what you could just do is you could use a marker, you could even use your crowns and color in those raindrops going around. But I really like to use paint, and what I'll do is I'll just take my brush and start tapping it around to get some raindrops. Again, you can go around your umbrella, but I'm not trying to put too many below my umbrella because that's the contrast. Having everything else so colorful and colored in, and then having that one area stay just white is going to make it stand out, and it's going to give it contrast. And I just like to lightly tap my brush to make my raindrops. There's a lot of different ways you can use your paintbrush whenever you're painting to make different textures. This is just one of them. And I actually have two different colors of blue paint, and I'm going to use a little bit of both because I think it looks good whenever you use some different shades of blue. It just adds in some more detail, some more visual interest that's so important. So you can see I have some going down here, some at the top, and I'll get the paint on my brush, and then I'll just start tapping it around to get those raindrops. It adds a really rainy sort of texture to it, doing it this way, versus just painting like normal. I like to dot in my rain. So I'm going to keep going through using my different blues, dotting in some rain at the top and down the sides of our umbrella, leaving the white space underneath our umbrella just white because that's going to be the only area that has white. And if you see, whenever I'm dotting around my umbrella, it's not sticking on the crowns because, like I said earlier, the crowns are made of wax. And it's really hard for water to stick to wax. So since I'm using some watery paints, it really helps with that. So I'm going to get the last of my raindrops finished out here on the top and on the sides, and then we'll check in once I'm all done to see how it's looking. Alright friends, my umbrella with contrast is all finished. You can see that I added the pink going all the way around, but I left this part white because this is our contrasted part. This is the part that really sticks out because the rest of it's so colorful. I can't wait to see how your projects come out, and I will see you all next time. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, your evening, your afternoon. Bye, y'all.